Hi guys, Ryu here with another video for Blender. In this one I want to show you how to design and create an info decal with Decal Machine. Just a quick one guys, before we're gonna start the tutorial, I just wanted to mention very quickly our Blender Bros Patreon, link in the video description if you would like to support us, and many thanks to every single person that's already on a Patreon. Thanks so much guys. Now info decals are basically text decals, so when I grab a cube and drop some matte on it with hard ups and go to look depth, this one is a bit too dark, that's better, and go to Decal Machine and drop any sticker on it. That's basically an info decal. You can apply it to the surface, you can apply it to a curved surface if you want to. You can go to materials and you can change the color and darkness and whatnot, so it's pretty cool. Now it's really easy to make them, so I'm gonna show you how to make them, and I'm gonna use a Blender Bros logo to create one. Okay, so what you need first is like a program, a Photoshop, GIMP, anything that creates PNG files, because for this one we're gonna need PNG files. And the reason why we need PNG files is because these files are transparent, meaning if I'm gonna change the color underneath, you can see that the text just pierces through, but there's no background. So we need a PNG file that retains the alpha channel, so it's basically transparent. All right, so I'm gonna jump into Photoshop and I'll show you how to prep a file for it. Okay, now you can see that I have a file already prepared and it's cut out from the background, but the easiest way to do it, by the way, is just simply to let me just switch it off for a sec, just create a new layer. And if you could create a new file in Photoshop, I'm just gonna open anything. Okay, let's open this one. So we're gonna have a background, and this is actually a new thumbnail for a upcoming course for a beginner in Blender vanilla stuff. But anyway, let me just delete that crop here. And if I wanted to, if I wanted to create something from scratch, I'm gonna have some background because I want to have some, better visibility. And I'm just gonna grab a text and type whatever in here. So I'm gonna type, oh, come on, I'm gonna type Blender Bros. So double click on it, double click on this one and type Blender Bros. And we're gonna select this text and go here and make it bigger, so something like 200 maybe. Put it somewhere in the middle. Oh, this is really getting on my nerves. There we go. Put it somewhere in the middle. By the way, if in Photoshop you can see that there's a line going through, so if you're in the middle, you'll be prompted that you're in the middle of this space. You can grab this crop tool and crop it in. Now when you crop a text, right, it's important not to go too close. You want to leave a bit of space for bleeding. Okay, this is important. You don't want to go, especially if your text is really large. This one is probably quite large, so you don't want to go too narrow on this one. Okay, too tight. Something like this. If you zoom closer, you can give a bit have a bit more precision with it. So then just crop it and get rid of this background because you don't need it. And this is basically what I would bring to Blender. So if I'm gonna go back to this text here and turn it on, I would simply save it as a PNG. Now the thing is that when you have a lot of layers in Photoshop and you're gonna collapse them, don't choose the flatten layers, because if you choose flatten layers, you will actually introduce a background. You'll lose this alpha channel. So what you need to do is delete all junk you don't need and simply merge layers. Okay, so create an empty layer here and simply merge layers or merge visible, and then save a PNG file. Okay, so that's how you do it. So I got a PNG file and I'm going to simply go back to Blender and let's just remove everything and go to Decal Machine, and I'm going to choose Decal Creation, which is here. Okay, and I'm going to switch to info, right, because we're creating info decal. Now, if you have any, any stuff in here, you can just simply remove all decals. These are basically instant decals. I always clean them up. And we're gonna load an image. Okay, so I'm gonna navigate to the place where I have it, and I'm gonna load it in. Okay. Okay, so I got my PNG file in here. I'm simply gonna open it up, and you're gonna see it in here. And then that's important. Okay. Now, if the decal is quite large, what you want to do is introduce some a bit of cropping in here, okay, a bit of padding. So I usually go with 4 or 5. Okay, this is going to introduce a bit of a padding around, helping a bit with bleeding and stuff. All right, so this is the only setting I would suggest enabling, and then you just create info decal, and you're done. That's your info decal. So now we can, if you wanted to, you can test it. So we can grab a cube, and you can see it's freaking huge because it's, it's massive in size. So if you want to create something smaller, you need to resize it in Photoshop. Okay, so when you're in Photoshop, you go here to image and image size, and you need to make it a bit smaller. So this one is 3.5K pixels, which is insanity. So we could just do it in 2K, so 2045, and then you're gonna have the same image in 245. So, and then you save a PNG, and when you import it here, it's gonna be a bit smaller. Yeah. So once you, let's make this a bit bigger and apply some color to it. Now when you test your decal, you want to shift D it, so the original one actually stays here in this position. All right, so we're gonna press D, Alt project, and there's our decal, right? Nice and crisp. You can change colors, you can do whatever the hell we want with it, and it's really cool. So looks really nice. And now how do you add this to your decal library? When first need to create a decal library, so you can go here to Decal Machine and type Decal Machine and go here, scroll all the way down. I got quite a few folders with decals, as you can see. So I'm gonna create here Blender Bros, and then once you create a library, you need to refresh it. Okay, so otherwise Decal Machine will not see it. So click this little button here, refresh, save preferences, and now when you open end panel, you select this decal that's been created on the floor. You go here and you select Blender Bros, if I can find it. Where is it? Blender Bros, there we go. And add decal to library. Okay, and then next time when you load your scene, so let's reset it, and let's add a plane and scale it by, scale it by 20, okay, and add some mud. And now we're gonna slap this in here, so press D. Okay guys, so now when I'm gonna bring this into the scene, you can see that it works as intended. You can move it wherever you want. You can apply this, so Alt project, and you can change colors if you want to. So anyway, that's it for this video guys, hope you enjoyed it. Give us a like and sub if you did. As usual, links in the video description to add-ons, such as for example Decal Machine, which is an add-on that you will need to create this info decal, and other add-ons that I recommend and use every day. So thanks for watching, catch you next video.